Border Patrol chief is resigning. Latest DHS leadership change. Nice. Oh, hey, speaking of the Department of Homeland Security, guess which political party that pretends to be progressive recently voted in favor of giving the DHS more power? I'll give you three guesses. The Combating Organized Retail Crime Act of 2025. This actually happened 2 days ago, but I didn't notice it because the mainstream media is not talking about it. Like, they're just straight up not talking about it. It's crazy. Can I get the, let me see. Overwhelming vote of 348 to 60. Widely supported. Thank you, Chuck Grassley. Cooked? Super cooked, yeah. What is there to talk about? Well, I think it's interesting because legitimately there is almost no media on this. If you Google right now, Combating Organized Retail Crime Act, or CORCA, if you prefer, you will find almost no news on it, even though it was passed through the House. Very, very, very quiet passing. They are not talking about it. Is that like those videos when a bunch of people rob a store? Yeah, that's organized retail crime is like that essentially. It's not that big. Like, it does not represent a significant loss to the profits of retailers. But it is a spooky topic. Wasn't the shit mostly fake anyway? Yeah, but it won't stop Congress from taking your rights away. Dave Joyce, I believe, is one of the co-sponsors of this bill. This bipartisan, bicameral bill would establish a coordinated multi-agency response and create new tools to tackle evolving trends in organized retail theft and combat these criminal operations. Again, almost every Democrat voted for this. Let's take a look. By the way, there is so little reporting on this that the only place I can find any information on it is from the websites of the members of Congress who support it. Like, I legitimately can't find any scrutinizing from the media, not even from like independent leaning media. So we can just pull up the text of the bill itself. HR 2853 to combat organized crime involving the illegal acquisition of retail goods and cargo for the purpose of selling those, I looked through 5 pages of Google articles about this bill. There are no major news outlets who reported on it. Want to see why it's so spooky? You want to see something interesting? You want to take a look? Let's see. Legalese. I believe it's in section A, B, somewhere here. Organized establishment. Not later than 90 days after the date of the enactment of the CORCA Act of 2025, the Secretary shall direct the Executive Associate Director to establish the Organized Retail and Supply Chain Crime Coordination Center, a new center. The duties of the center shall include A. Coordinating federal law enforcement activities relating to organized retail supply chain, including investigations of national, transnational criminal orgs. B. Establishing relationships with state and local law enforcement agencies and organizations, including organized retail crime associations and cargo theft associations. C. Assisting the state and local law enforcement with investigation. And D. Establishing relations with retail, transportation, and other companies determined by the Executive Associate Director to have significant interests relating to organized retail, or in other words, a bunch of private department stores, like retail companies, Target, Walmart, whatever else, and supply chain crime threats, sharing information with those companies regarding such threats, collaborating on investigations and loss prevention activities as appropriate, and providing a mechanism for the receipt of investigative information on such threats. Or in other words, a majority of Democrats in the House just passed the creation of a new department in the Department of Homeland Security to encourage coordination and communication with local police and private companies to collect surveillance data from their cameras and their locations in order to coordinate crime-stopping efforts. Establishing a secure system for sharing information regarding organized retail and supply chain crime threats by leveraging existing information systems at the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice. Tracking trends with respect to organized retail and supply chain crime, and supporting the provision of training and technical assistance in accordance with subsection C. So yeah, new department of the DHS. They're already doing it. Yeah, but they're already doing everything. Now they're establishing a new department specifically designed to coordinate with local police and private organizations to share surveillance data. Again, it's worth remembering that the Department of Homeland Security didn't exist 27 years ago. The Department of Homeland Security was founded with the explicit intention of stopping terrorism, not crime. Doesn't it seem a little bit odd to you that this would be under the DHS and not the FBI? You know, the Federal Police Department? The DHS was explicitly created to stop terrorism. What the fuck does organized retail theft have to do with terrorism? But slowly but surely, they've been folding more and more law enforcement responsibilities into the overfunded, borderline uncontrollable Nazi pack brown shirt brigade known as the Department of Homeland Security, run consistently by actual neo-Nazis. Like, it's organized retail crime. Why wouldn't it be the FBI? Now we have a direct provision, a line of communication between private companies sharing their fucking asshole surveillance cameras they stuff in their toilets with the Department of Homeland Security. You all, again, like, I think a lot of younger Americans don't realize this. It's not normal that this is being folded under the DHS. It's not even remotely normal. Like, this is the kind of stuff that people back in the day would have been accused of fear-mongering over if they had mentioned this. Like, they'd say, pretty soon all policing will be done through the DHS. They'd say this back in, like, 2005 or whatever. And then people would be like, no, they're not. Quit being a conspiracy theorist. Now they're doing it. This is what happens in fascist societies. Law enforcement increasingly takes on more and more responsibilities. Not just law enforcement, but the lawless law enforcement. The DHS doesn't, like, enforce the law. They're just thugs of the president. Still not needed for DHS, Uves. DHS was founded for the purpose of combating terrorism. All of this, this has literally nothing to do with national security. Logistics, international relations, domestic policing, all of this can be handled by the FBI, or if necessary, the Department of Commerce, Transportation, or Justice. You'll never get the satisfying feeling of being correct early. All the privacy-obsessed Snowdenites from the early 2010s were absolutely correct, and now it doesn't even matter anymore. Yeah, and the fucked up thing is that all of the privacy-obsessed Snowdenites ended up being, like, Trump-leaning independents. Not all of them, but, like, Snowden kind of did, you know? A lot of the people who were right early ended up being wrong later. So they're going to deport shoplifters as this DHS? No. The point isn't to deport shoplifters. The point is to summon more info for Palantir. This is just a way for the vast surveillance network of private corporations to be folded into the databases of the DHS, which already has contracts with Palantir. That's it. Now they have a legal excuse to add all of the surveillance information from Target or whatever into their training data. That's it. Remember, a majority of Democrats supported this. Here we are, yays and nays. Yeah, thank you. Look at that, man. 348 in favor. All right. Let's take a look for, let's take a look at AOC. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Nay. Thank God. Okay. No cynicism today, folks. She voted the correct way. What a surprise. Dems just voted to expand DHS powers. Yippee. Did you expect otherwise? No, not really. I mean, if 60 people or so, yeah, 60 people, voted against it, I would expect her to be one of them, but people in chat were mentioning it. I saw somebody in YouTube chat being cynical about it. Jeffries didn't vote. Again, nobody's covering this. There's like no coverage of this. So there certainly wasn't any whipping in either direction. Do you still think nothing ever happens because the surveillance is illegal, so it can't be used as evidence in court? I feel like you're folding a lot of my positions down into one simple statement. I've made a lot of very complicated arguments about the weaknesses and strengths of the fascist control over our judicial system. I don't think it can be summarized in the way that you've summarized it. Things are rarely that simple. The only thing that's simple and true is that we're ruled over by pedophile oligarchs. That is simple and true. It's 100% simple and 100% true. Who was the one Republican that voted nay? Keith Self, who I know nothing about. Pardon me for being an analytics Andy, but I feel like the consistent doom and gloom of the subjects the past couple of days have led to something of a drop in viewership. Not to, not to worry for my own job and all. I wonder if you people don't need a little more key jangling. Bit of tonal consistency. I guess the videos still do well. It's over? Well, I'm feeling good. Nah, I love your stuff. Thank you. I love you too, Sprinkled Fox in YouTube chat. Poland registered its first gay marriage? Really? Cool. Of course, and the rainbows. Typical. In November, the EU's highest court ordered Poland to register same-sex marriages that were entered into it from other EU countries, even if Polish law does not currently permit them. Well. The border guy resigned because he met up with prostitutes. Were they overage? Wow, what a step forward for the ethics of a person associated with the Department of Homeland Security. Trump's Border Patrol chief has abruptly resigned amid allegations he traveled abroad to... Oh, wait, traveled abroad to solicit sex workers? Like Thailand? Or the Philippines? Well, hold on. Hold on. Traveled abroad, huh? No mention of why over here.